something that we know what we are having of. The one thing that all the world is still using, including the U.S., but at the same time, many of us are fighting against it. The topic that I'm going to talk about is none other than capital punishment. You all refer to it as the death penalty. Now, some of you may want to know why I want to speak of it, and I'll tell you why. I'm against death penalty, and one valid reason is life. Now, a couple of videos ago that I made, I said that life is more valuable than anything. It does. Now, we all know that right now in the U.S., around 60% of the states still retains the death penalty, including in the federal or military sections of it. Now, the only way that you could get the death penalty is only you committed murder, whether it is a first-degree murderer, capital murder, aggravating murder, unless those are the only way you get the death penalty. Now, many of you guys, including myself, either why we have the death penalty. To sentence those who committed these kind of crimes, taking the life of others for a certain reason or something. The biggest factor of you can take the person's life, mostly if you take away the life of the law enforcement officer. Thus, that's automatically a murderer and is a capital punishment. Now, that's to be the case, but the way I see it, it's more like a revenge. And you know, revenge is the dish best served cold. Meaning a lot of people are really satisfied. Every video that I'm watching, every news that I'm hearing about the death penalty, I know that a lot of family and friends of the victims that have been killed by the one who's been convicted. I understand it. But what do we gain? What do they gain after executing the killer? I tell you, nothing. The question is this what they really want? Taking that person's life away? Or is it what the victim wants? Because we cannot hear the victim because he or she is not with us anymore. But at the same time, it's true that the one who committed these kind of crimes did take the lives away. But using the law, we're no different than the convicted killers. We're no different. In fact, we may not using so many things, but actually some of the states do. The 5 methods that really only on the table right now is primarily either shooting, hanging, putting in the gas chamber, put to death by lethal injection, beheading, or being put into an electric chair. I'm really against it, and I tell you, and like I said, life is one of them. But there's other factors why I'm against it. Money. It costs money. From the drug, when it comes to lethal injections, you need to buy a lot of supplies to try to inject it into a certain body. One of them to be involved with paralysis. One of them try to shut the body down and wait for all this drugs combined together like a reaction. The time's up for the killer. So in other words, those who's feeling revenge of wanting to put the killer to death, they're no different. because they let their feelings get the best of them. And at the same time, is this exactly what the victim wants? That to have them get the same treatment as he or she did? We don't know. And it's really important because I'd rather have them sentenced to life until they in prison without parole and let them think of the time that they will be up while us checking them out. Now we already know that's the only case in the U.S. But there are boundaries that is completely crossed in certain other countries. You know, crimes like rape, robbery, Ponzi schemes, or aka economic crimes, or other petty issues. You don't be sentenced to death in the U.S., but you do in the other countries. So shockingly about the death sentence for a grandmother who has no choice working for a drug lord trying to send drugs to another country. It's a no-win because she's got sentenced to death. Or a woman who renounced her religion, Islam, and going to Christianity is going to be sentenced to death. At least she escaped. Now, boundary has been crossed completely, big time. But taking those lives away just because of those petty things, come on, you gotta be kidding me. Is rape, robbery, or did the scamming people, instead of death, I'd rather have them time. Adultery, yes, cheating. That's cheating. But taking their lives away, that's not the we learned that lesson a long time ago, and we took that out of the list. And it's not even a crime. Can't believe this. And now I don't know what to think. Like, we learned our lessons, but I don't know what the other worlds are doing. Second of all, it's more like a violation, human rights violations. They don't care, but we still gonna fight. I guess you probably noticed that we may have our loved ones been taken away by those who committed the crimes, yes. And you expressed your anger after they've been sentenced. I get that. I understand. But what will you accomplish? You know that when a life's been taken away, it will never come back. It will never bring your loved one back. That's all. Is it worth it to kill another person using the law? Is it better for have a one person be away because of the crimes? No. Life is more cherished. And I'd rather them than spend the rest of their lives in prison until they die. And we don't need to do anything. I don't know why a lot of people get that kind of reaction of them not getting the death penalty instead of getting life. Maybe it's probably a natural reaction. Express anger. You cannot let anger get the best of you. Because if you do, you're no different. I know karma really plays a factor, but the way I see it, it won't let you get you anywhere because this is a no-win situation. We learned that, and it seems like other countries really still don't get it. As the previous video, I'm really still against the Sharia law. You mean anything that you commit a crime over there, you'd be sentenced any kind of form, including death. But being LGBT over there, because violating the law, Sharia law, and putting them to death, that's really disgusting and unacceptable. And we know that that's not going to happen in the U.S. We're not going to let Sharia law come into the U.S. And one day, I hope other countries will realize the error of their ways and change their minds, fixing up the system, and try to give the people a second chance. I know a lot of people don't deserve a second chance. I see many of them do. At least they try to make things for the better. And finally, the other reason. This is more controversial. Of innocent people being put to death. Pointing fingers at the others. Yet it didn't do anything but sentence them to death. Been judged with the crime they didn't commit. And the lack of evidence comes in. Despite of it, the Supreme Court, the governor, or anybody try to make sure to stop it, but no avail, and they sentence that person to death. That person, he or she, doesn't deserve to be in prison, doesn't deserve to be executed for the crime that he or she didn't commit. Because whether from the invitation from law enforcement or the latest from last year is because back then of the color of the person's skin. Those are the issues that we need to address, and we cannot use the death penalty as an excuse. So in other words, when the truth comes out before that time of the execution comes, got to do it quickly, because if they execute that person, we know it's a miscarriage of justice. There is going to be no justice, but I can tell it is more like an immorality of sentencing the innocent person to death. And those are the reasons why I'm against the death penalty. And we saw the results. Lives that change. Many of them try to forget it, but they can't, because it will be in their memories for the rest of their lives. That person wants to be away. Is it going to change? I don't know. But we can't not tell. And the last thing before I gotta go. We have feelings. We do. We always get shocked if anyone we know has been taken away. And once either that person committed that kind of crime, to be sentenced, you gotta think for a moment. You really want to take out that? You really want to use the law to take out the person? Or have some mercy and let him spend the rest of his or her life in jail? Because I'll tell you this, the latter may be a little bit worth it, because that person may have to think. That person has to realize the error of his or her ways. Because by the time comes, you know, and I know what life is. I'm Demetrius Gordon, and that's my opinion.